what you gotta do. That will be,
That
I
was
believe, the first
joke.
thing that people are gonna hear on the video, by the way, is that, hold on, let me get in the mind of a merciless person. That's glorious, by the way. I just want to point that out.
It's a good soundbite to
We
start
are
with.
live and recording, just so you guys know. With that said, welcome, my friends. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion and the host for tonight's events along the Frontier and Alien RPG campaign. This is episode 23, Inception Departure, and I am the Game Mother. A title I didn't create, but does sound kind of cool. With me, of course, are my wonderful face-hugger loving players, Rodance, Luke, and Kane. So let's spend a minute to check in with them, because it has been like 3 friggin' weeks since we last got everybody together at one place and one time. Let's see what's new and exciting for them. Meanwhile, I'll just be over here. Wow, this joke does not make any sense now. When I prepped this joke, it made perfect sense. But man, delivery is so slow. I'll just be over here taking my facehugger horde to see some Olympic Games, since we were so callously excluded from participating in the synchronized swimming event. That's so out of date now, though. God damn it.
Yeah,
That just tells you, by the way, that I don't remember half the shit I prepped from 3 weeks ago.
I'll tell you what, though, if
what's
it had been
new?
landed
I'm
on
sorry, go
good
ahead.
timing, it would have been really good.
It would have been if that week we had met like we were supposed to 3 weeks ago, but it didn't happen for whatever. I don't even remember why.
Life
Life.
reasons.
Yeah. Ro, we'll start with you, my friend. What is new and exciting for you?
So just as the final comment of our before recording conversation, I've learned after being in IT for so long that if you do not personally report an issue or submit the ticket or call the number to fix the little power line or the light that's out or whatever, it's never going to get fixed. You have to always assume that you're the only one doing it. Otherwise, it never gets done.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that when everyone's responsible, everybody assumes someone else did it. Problems?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Also
it's
just
one of
safe
those, you
not to
take
assume.
personal responsibility and then call or get it fixed or whatever, submit the ticket, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Biggest thing you can do in most situations, frankly. And yeah, the other thing I was just remembering, so did we remember the mental health warning blurb for this session?
Oh, that's a great one. At one point I thought I had it written somewhere. I know it's in the description for YouTube. Let me take a look at my YouTube channel really fast and see how long it takes me to get to it. And I will just read it right off of that. Give me a moment. My computer's running okay right now, so let's see.
And facehuggers are great. They're so cuddly.
Episode something or other. And we are closet, so nobody hears my mouth from last episode. And from this point forward in the campaign, it is safe to say that several disturbing elements may be discussed or portrayed. Some content may be difficult for some to watch. Please be mindful of your limits, and we will endeavor to be mindful of others' limits. We are playing characters in a game. The players and myself are separate and distinct from the people we play. It is never our intent to make light of real problems. If you need assistance, we strongly encourage you to find the support and aid you need. Otherwise, we hope you enjoy this experience as we enjoy the playing of it. That actually sounded pretty good.
You had one somewhere.
That actually sounded pretty good, I think, as far as a warning for, trigger content, I guess.
Yeah, I remember
really
where
hate
we
that
left
word, by
off
the
with
way.
my poor character. We're waiting to see if I have to use my backup that we made a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was told that I would have to make it.
Yes, I made him make it.
That's right. That's right.
It was fun.
I enjoyed it.
So what I'm hearing is you not only enjoy inflicting the torture of damaging the character, you also enjoy the rebuilding of a new one.
I did not report for mental health concerns, by the way. Okay, the fate of this character is not Pike's fault.
No, this one it is not. It is not. Speaking of who may or may not have reported the specific words that can cause problems for anybody in the military, Luke, what's new and exciting for you, my friend? What a wonderful transition that was, by the way.
Well then. So
that well then sounded like and fuck you, but okay.
Listen, all I'm thinking of right at that moment was anybody that was watching the last episode and immediately starts watching this episode. This is what they're gonna hear. That transition, unlike my synchronized swimming joke, is gonna be greatly timed.
Yeah. Anyone binging will have a pretty good continuity.
Yeah.
So as far as I was saying at the start of this thing before we started recording, lawn mowing simulators are depressing as fuck. Sitting down to play a cozy game and thinking, hey, I can just spend some time doing this, and then literally crying a little bit.
Should not be laughing at that, but here I am.
Yeah, I don't think cozy games are for me.
On that note,
There's plenty of good cozy games.
Have you tried Gunsmith Simulator by chance?
Gunsmith Simulator? No, I have not.
Take a look at it.
Okay.
There's also Power Wash Simulator, which has, from what I have understood, I've never actually tried it myself, but I believe it has a Warhammer 40k add-on.
Yes, I have Power Washing Simulator, so if you'd like to see it, I could stream it for you another time.
Yeah.
But I have it, and I have quite a few hours in it.
And as we all know, somehow power washing provides an ungodly amount of therapy.
It's good because you don't have to clean up the water after you use the power washer.
See, with the lawn mowing simulator, you have to do a yard walk, which I worked in the industry, so I remember this, where you would go around looking for toys or for sticks or for anything that could damage your equipment.
Yep.
Right, so you literally go into the yard and you like figure that out. And then you grab your mower, you do your big circuit. It's like a half-hour mowing job, at least, for the first house. And that's a lot of time to decide to spend into a game that you don't know nothing about. And then you got to go with a weed whacker to like trim and do the finer edges and things like that. And I think about 3/4 of the way through the lawnmower part, I cried a little bit. I was like, I remember why I don't work in this field anymore.
I would recommend at least checking out Gunsmith Simulator. It is pretty good.
Yep.
Now, accuracy as far as taking the parts apart or taking the weapons apart actually wasn't terribly far off, and definitely went deeper with weapon disassembly than I remember doing in the military. But also, I wasn't trained much higher than there's the individual crew member or soldier level, and then there's one level above that, which is where I was at. And the level of detail, we'll say, goes at least one layer beyond that as far as the maintenance levels. And from the way I remember it, especially with the M4 that you can play with in that particular game, it was pretty freaking spot on as far as accuracy and details and whatnot. The only issue I had with it is once you reach a certain point in the game, as far as like your leveling or whatever you want to call it, and you acquire all the weapons that you want for yourself, there's not much else left to do in the game except keep working on stuff to build up money.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what a lot of these idle / like cozy games are kind of for. So whatever.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's fine. It's good for what it is. It's a great way to just blow some time and unwind and think about nothing more than shit. Where'd I leave the seer?
Yeah, rather than my insurance woes.
Yeah, exactly. My
job is stupid.
Yep.
I'll actually second on that thing that Rodan said earlier, which was if you don't do something, it's never getting done.
No, you definitely have to follow up.
And I have certain people call in and they're like, yeah, I called like 6 or 7 times. And I'm like, oh, who helped you? But really in my head, I'm screaming at like whoever was helping them earlier because I'm like, 7 times and you're still calling? Why?
Yeah. That's definitely an issue that needs to be explored. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, well, Kane, earlier you said you didn't have any funny stories, so I'm going to drop all adjectives and pretense. Tell me your story, sir.
Oh, that last story is not a story for
No, I don't want. You don't have to share that one. That one's a little too real, I guess you'd say.
Let's see. What else could I share?
What do you? How likely do you think it is? Sorry, Kane.
I underestimated what a good recovery time in the gym can do for you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I was working hard with my buddy who is not natural. So keeping up with him has been rough.
Oh God.
And he took, but I'm built stupid, so I'm trying anyways.
I'm built stupid. Is
Yeah.
that what you just said?
Yeah, I'm built stupid.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I gotta remember that line. Anyway,
At least I knew at least somebody else. There's going to be somebody who watches this, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, exactly." You know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So he had to go to a conference for a week, so I had a week to recover, and then we went back yesterday, and I killed it, and it felt great because I've been able to finally rest at like a normal person's rest cycle instead of a juiced one. Oh my god. I'm also like trashed right now from yesterday's workout, but whew, it felt good to be able to like not be dragging my sore ass across the finish line.
I know that feeling. I encounter usually by about Thursday or Friday the aches and pains of doing my job, which for those that don't know, I am a delivery driver, and I manipulate packages up to 150 pounds by hand, occasionally with a dolly depending on the nature of the package. But the ones that kick my ass the most, like physically, typically are going to be chewy boxes of dog food or cat litter or what have you, because these usually run in the 40 to 70 pound range, and when each box or each stop that might get one can get anywhere from 1 to 4, typically 1 or 2, but can get 3 or 4 or more. And yes, I have a dolly, but sometimes it's more of a pain in the ass to pull the dolly out and try to use it and then put the dolly back after I made the delivery. So, yeah, some of this sounds a little like I'm just being a whiny boy, but the truth is like by the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, I'm beat, like physically beat, and so I'm right there Thursday, Friday. I'm just like, I just want to go to bed, but I know if I try to go to bed now at 7:00, I'm going to be awake at 3 and pissed off because I can't go back to sleep. So,
Nah,
Yeah.
I get like
Food
if
and
you,
recovery time. Don't ignore them if you're going to go to the gym. They're both super
oh,
important.
I mean, recovery. Anytime you do anything physically exerting, you need that recovery time. Period.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what it is. Gym, especially, yes. But if you have a physical job, you definitely need to pay attention to your body and take that downtime as much as you can get it, and don't overexert, because that will lead to all sorts of injuries that you don't want to deal with. And let me tell you, if you're 20 or 30 years old, you're like, I'll be fine. I'm
Yep.
48, motherfucker. Listen to me.
It happens fast.
Actually, I'm 47. My birthday's coming, though.
I'm in my
Ooh,
mid
happy birthday.
30s,
Not
but it's
yet,
a high
not yet.
mileage body.
It
It catches up. The shit catches up with you. The more
It
you fuck
does.
around, the more you will find out.
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
I was working intake at a Walmart, and
Oof.
to say the least, my job there was absolute chaos. And I've actually Kool-Aid manned through a bed set.
I'm sorry. I might need a second. You Kool-Aid manned your way through a bed set. That's amazing. I'm just picturing, oh yeah, right through that motherfucker.
Yeah, I did the oh yeah and everything. And I mean that's the level of chaos that my position there was.
That's
I was also
amazing.
the safety advisor for the place. But the point being is, I remember distinctly going, okay, so do we use the forklift to bring all this dog food, because there's tons of dog food in a Walmart, up
Literally.
to the second floor.
Yeah.
And we had collectively decided that we were just going to like load the pallet closer to like the second floor's awning, and then have 2 people up there and then 2 people down, and we would just throw the dog food up to the second floor.
Yeah, I guess.
From-
Yeah, just daisy,
Yeah.
or not daisy chain, but just make a chain of it.
Like just alley-oop them like a keg toss, just all the way up there.
You're good for
And-
like 10 at least.
Oh, it was like 100 of them.
Yeah, that's my point.
Oh boy, that sucks.
All right, let's get into our show. Previously on Along the Frontier, excuse me, the team has returned to the Tampa Tam from their recent run of R&R. Staff Sergeant Pike, disturbed about the conversation with a mysterious man on the tarmac, consults with Lieutenant Eckhart, leading to even more disturbing possible revelations. Lance Corporal Warren and Corporal Winston attend to dinner and briefly check in with Sergeant Wescott, who of late has not been acting herself. Following dinner, the tradition of a round of combatives before the next mission continues leads to Wescott being taken to the med bay, where the words mental health and suicidal ideation are now threatening to send Wescott in a totally different direction than the rest of her team. And lastly, we catch a shot of the ship as it slips into FTL and from our view on the screen. Gotta open up a different journal entry to take us into the next part. This will be fun. I'm really looking forward to this section here. So let me close. We can actually minimize that for now. Bring it over here. This over here. Sorry, I have a thing about leaving windows where I can find them. There. Rodance, we'll talk with you first. You are in your hypersleep chamber. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it that for now. Later, when I get to Luke and Kane, I'll call it something different, I'm sure. You are not, as they say, the fuck out. Because that's what you do when you go into FTL. But you dream during this time. Tell us of your dreams. I am trying so hard to not make a Dune reference, by the way.
Oh gosh, yeah. Wescott. Is Watt still in the med bay?
Yes. Let me
So
double
both
check
of
my
my
notes really
characters
quick.
are
Yeah,
in the
I
med
think.
bay at the moment.
Yeah, Wescott and Watts are in the med bay. Watts will be released when you guys come out of FTL.
Yep, he should be fully recovered.
Yep.
So Wescott is probably they probably drugged her into sleep, so she's probably having especially weird dreams.
I imagine. Well, I mean, part of the hypersleep process is you guys are ingesting in some form, whether it's intravenously or through the aerosols or something, that there's some drug that knocks you out and puts you under.
It's supposed to be cryo based. It slowly freezes you into suspension.
Yep, which of course requires even more medication just to make sure you don't die from the. He's useless to me if he's dead.
I mean, we're using future space 80s,
Yeah.
So they thought that you could just freeze a person and unfreeze him to be fine.
Oh, he'll be fine as long as he survives the freezing process.
If they didn't know anything about, they didn't.
That's
think
the second one. Don't make me do a third one. God damn it!
We're not going to discuss the particular sciences behind cryo freezing people because we'll be here for all night discussing that back and forth. So she will be
jail. They had no idea in the first place.
Yeah. So she is probably having uncomfortable, disjointed dreams of her and the other people from her home station that she was placed with, running from Xeno horrors as children. I'm pretty sure the Xeno horrors are currently hunting her and her fellow orphans through the space station, and it's not a good dream.
Okay. As you get towards the end of that dream, you find yourself alone. You are in. You can't really tell if it's a space station or a spaceship, but it's dim lighting, but you can see well enough to get by. But it's calm. You get a feeling of you're alone, which can be disturbing in and of itself, but for the moment, outside of being alone, for the moment, you feel safe. Safe-ish. Luke? Same question, my friend. What does the madman dream of when he's not Palpatine? The Star Wars references are so fucking thick already. Go ahead.
So he's playing back the situation that happened in the last planet, Pandora. Yeah.
Yeah. The jungle-ish island with the air base that you're trying to hold on to as the UPP was literally invading.
Yeah. And it plays a couple times where he remembers what had happened to the couple.
Mm-hmm.
But his dream seems to like less focus on that and more on like the flute and things.
Okay. Finding the flute. I think you get a moment. Excuse me. You spend a few moments in your dream And of course, time is a really weird sensation in dreams. Seconds can pass in days, and days can pass in seconds. But in this dream, you've got this sense of like foreboding doom, heavy pressure, trying to find this stupid flute. You're not even sure why you're looking for a flute, or even for that matter, what the flute looks like. But you're in this apartment building, or maybe it's a hotel. It's really hard to tell the difference at this point in your dream. All the rooms look alike, literally the exact same, even down to like the bedspread and the paintings are hung up on the walls. Everything's the same. And so you're not even sure how many rooms you've gone through. But then you enter another room for what feels like the 80th time or the 6th time. You're not sure. And there is what looks like a piece of bone, maybe, sticking out from under the bed. And you go and look, and you find this flute. And it feels somewhere between a bone and a piece of plastic. It's hard to really describe what the sensation is. Your brain can't put words and sensations into conjunction with each other. It can't reconcile it. But holding the flute, you also start to get a sensation of relief, completion, safety. It almost gives you a sense of warmth. And then we kick over to our resident psychopath, the master of psychopathy. I'm not sure if that's really a word. I think it is, but
That is the word, yeah.
yep. Kane, Staff Sergeant Pike, what does the madman dream of? Not just a madman, but the madman. You're muted.
So Pike's dream starts. It starts with the last crew that he was with.
Okay.
The group in his background role.
Yeah.
And it starts with him laying down in some jungle bush at the base of a tree. He's got one hand clamped over a Marine's mouth who's mangled in a booby trap. It's obvious there's no way to save this guy. He's got his hand clamped over his mouth to keep the screams down. And he looks over, and there's other Marines there, and just looks back at the guy, gives him a solemn nod, and then with his other hand quietly slits his throat.
Gruesome. But I can
And
work
then
with that.
He reaches down. I want to go a little longer. If
Go
it's
ahead,
okay
go
with
ahead.
you. He reaches down and grabs the front of his armor and pulls, and it doesn't pick up that guy. It pulls Wescott out of him.
Oh my god, that's scary.
And he starts, and he gets up and he's dragging Wescott. And it goes back to another mission where he's finished, where like he's with another wounded Marine. And the dropship is like, you can see the dropship in the distance. There's fire all over the place. Like there's splinters of tree going overhead as rounds are hitting all around. And there's a Marine who's stuck, definitely still is dying. And he pulls out his sidearm and shoots that Marine. Reaches down, grabs the front of the armor and pulls, and it's Wescott. Pulls Wescott and drags.
Uh-oh. Tell me my internet didn't just shit out on me. Everybody froze. Fuck. Come on, internet. Don't do this to me now. Alright. This won't be on the stream, I think. This will be in the recording. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Please stand by. We'll figure this out. And hopefully we won't have this problem again. It is currently attempting to reconnect. I didn't even kick the cable.
Oop.
Okay. Alright. I don't know what happened. You froze when you were dragging the second Wescott. I don't know if that makes any sense. Your faces are all in the wrong place, so now I have to reorganize it.
Yeah,
So
you
the viewer-
disconnected and reconnected.
Okay, yeah.
You
I
mean you
think-
missed that? Oh.
Okay, this. I mean, that's a really good place for me to pick up because I know where I was picking up from that.
Okay, I just want to make sure the stream is good. I think we are okay. It appears we are still streaming. Oh, I have me and Kate. Oh, you froze again. Son of a bitch. This is annoying. So annoying. All right, folks, we just gotta sit and wait. I don't know why my internet's being so hiccupy. I may need to refresh the modem, to be totally honest. That might be the problem. Did Zoom just shit out totally? Nope, there it goes. It's starting back up.
Everyone's trying to figure it out.
Okay, I honestly don't know what's going on. The only thing I could think of is the modem that I have not restarted in a while.
You guys restart modems?
Yes, yeah, that's a fair statement. Oh my god, it's like I'm playing that there we go. Okay. I think I got everybody in the right order. Hopefully I don't everything's reconnecting. So like Steam just told me friends are playing
you're
games.
You're still talking.
So like we can still hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah. So
because we can tell when you're not connected because you freeze and it rearranges stuff. Because Zoom doesn't kick us out immediately.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. So the last thing I got was the second time you pulled Wescott out of a dead Marine.
Okay. So
excuse me.
He goes back even further, and he's standing over another AW cadet.
Okay.
He's like 10 years old, and he's standing there. His hands are all bloody. The other cadet's on the ground with like a misshapen skull, and one of the instructors hands him a pistol, and he looks at it uncertain before he points it at his fellow AW candidate and shoots him in the head. And after he shoots him in the head and hands the pistol back and looks back, he sees that it's just Wescott that he shot in the head on the ground.
It's Wescott there on the ground, bleeding.
Shot in the face by Pike.
Yep. I'm going to cut in there because I think that's enough times of Wescott being utterly mutilated and abused.
Yeah, I wanted to get far enough to go back to like how vicious the childhood was.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
So I think in that moment, when you shoot Wescott and you see in future or current Pike's mentality recognizing Wescott, your instructor puts an armor around you. And you probably think for a moment, this is really weird. Like, there've never been this warm and affectionate or supportive or anything of that nature. But the instructor puts an arm around you and says, good job. And you get this feeling of acceptance, this feeling of warmth from within you. And then all three of y'all's dreams, including the two minion characters, from whatever your previous moment was, it shifts to this blurb that I'm going to read. It's pitch dark. The humidity is palpable. The air too heavy to breathe. You grope in the blackness, looking for an exit. But thick, thick, fleshy walls impede your every movement. These walls pulse and exhale. These walls are alive. Your lungs will fill with viscous liquid, but you're not drowning. You are warm. You are safe. You're back in your mother's womb. A woman stands over you, an ebon figure against the starless void. Love me, he whispers. Your mother pulls you close to her bosom. You try to meet her eyes, but they are empty pools. All you see is her smiling metal mouth. Her sharp breath startles you awake. It was only a dream. You retch bile as your cryopod hums and slides open. Your shirt and shorts are drenched. You are covered in a sparkling sheen of sweat. It's over, you hear someone mutter. The words were your own. And I feel like if this was a musical, that would have been like the opening chorus because you all would have said it in time, perfect unison, and then the song would have broke out. But it's not a musical. It's a fucking horror show. I don't do musicals. It's over, you hear someone mutter. The words, listen, I'm not that creative, man. The words were your own. They are met with silence. Your arms are crisscrossed with open wounds. You are alone. The other stasis pods are closed. Individually, this is what you see. So you're all having a shared moment, but you are not together in this moment. Your fellow Marines still asleep. Their canopies are filled with thick velvet fluid, which could only be one thing. The hairs on your neck stand rigid as your mother embraces you from behind, her rancid breath hissing in your ear. Kill for me. The other pods cycle open, spilling their lifeblood across the deck and washing you away in a torrent of red. Pike, you wake up from that moment of being washed away by a flood of blood. And leaning over your pod, as if to see if what's taking so long, the first thing you see, first face you focus on, you think it's mother, your mother, whatever your mother was in the AW program. Or father, I guess, as the case may be. But as your eyes...
Like the first staff face that he remembers?
Yeah. But then that face morphs, and it's Colonel Arnold, looking directly in your eyes. A hesitantly impatient look in his face. It looks like
is my pod opening, or is he looking at me
you see him there, and the pod opens, and there he is. And I think in the time, it's like one of those, like, here's the pod closed, here's his face, it's that staff puke from when you were first produced or whatever, and as it transitions, it's suddenly like the shift is in like a blink of an eye. Now it's Colonel Arnold, and his face doesn't change, and you have the images and the smells lingering in your brain of being washed away by the blood of your fellow Marines and the stench of mother's breath over your ear saying, kill for me. You hear the words still lingering in the last little bits of your subconscious.
He just like reaches up and rubs one side of his head. Girdle?
Staff Sergeant, your team is not whole. What is your plan?
Are you talking about Wescott?
Yeah, Wescott.
If you can make... Oh, Jesus. Sorry, sir. Oh.
Get your shit together. Get your team together. You've got 1 hour. Briefing room. And he turns and walks away.
Okay.
He's totally oblivious to whatever the fuck you were dreaming about, obviously.
Yeah. As he starts to walk away, he says, can I get a medical release form to get Wescott out of medical? Sir?
Talk to the doc.
Yes, sir.
Everybody take a point of stress if you haven't already. Because
how much stress am I sitting at? Because I'm assuming my person is still asleep.
Well, you just gained +1 to whatever it is.
Well, I ended last session with 8 stress and panic 10. And 0 hit points.
Go ahead and take off half of that stress and reset your panic to 0. Because you were in hypersleep for however the fuck long. But add 1 to whatever that ends up being for your stress.
And how do I get any hit points back?
You should get all your hit points
back. You
back.
should get all your hit points back.
You got to roll. Now it's a fresh awakening.
You will need to
stress or not.
Yeah, you do need to roll your am I a normal human being or am I having mental duress? I forget the specific terms. I believe you need to make a not wits. What's the other one?
Empathy.
I
have it written down.
I was trying to remember the characteristic. Oh, hey, look, you're a human being today. That would be very, very fucking helpful, because the other option would have been very, very fucking bad.
Yeah.
I think we all know that.
Stressed today.
Okay, I get up. Before I go through my regular routine, I want to check the other pods.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Like, are they in a wake cycle, or are they still asleep?
Your team is waking up.
Okay.
Along with Lieutenant Eckhart and the flight crew chief. Her second for the Saturday the 14th. It's so weird to say that live and actually try to keep straight face, by the way.
You're welcome.
I really bet that shit is a dumbass joke, man. You know they actually made a Saturday the 14th horror and or horror parody movie, right?
And
Anyway, moving on. You when you like take a look at the cryopods, your team is being woken up along with Lieutenant Eckhart and what's his face that we've never named. The rest of any other Marine troops that you can observe are still under. And according to the lights and your limited understanding of medical technology, they seem to be fine.
There's no red blinky things.
No, there are no. All the lights are the correct color. Whatever they're supposed to be, they're there. And they're blinking in the correct fashion at the correct tempo.
I have no idea what any of it means, but it looks like it's supposed to look, so I guess everything's fine.
Yep, exactly.
So all right, everybody, sort of. You have 30 minutes to be clean, fed, and in uniform. And
That's
he
you
just
guys.
looks to make sure that he's acknowledged.
Yeah, that's you guys, by the way. Well, mostly Luke.
that's Luke's 2 people and then NPCs.
Yep. Yeah, the NPCs are like, yep, Eckhart gives you
Yep.
one of her patented, whatever looks, but you know she's like, I got it.
And he'll grab his hydration pack. He'll open his locker, grab his hydration pack, and he'll take it with him into the shower.
Okay.
To refill it, right?
To refill it.
No. It's gonna. He's trying to work fast. So he's like he's got the one hand
Multitasking?
rubbing the gel soap on, while the other hand is chugging the hydration chemical to try to get him hydrated. He's trying to get in and out very quickly so he can head to medical.
Because he has to pick up Watts and Wescott.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke, for Winston and Warren, give me a quick rundown. What are they doing? You've been told you've got 30 minutes. You've had a very fucking weird ass dream. Very fucking weird. It went from like stressful and annoying to peaceful and calm to I don't know what the fuck that last bit was.
So, let's see here. Warren is going to shake the chicken nuggies out of his brain for just a moment here, and not have his pants around his neck again. And
That's good.
Winston is going to attempt to do his best at working through this particular task.
Okay. Wescott,
They're on board.
you woke up. That dream is, running around with your sisters and other kids, and then all of a sudden being chased, and then suddenly being safe, and then suddenly being absolutely terrified by Mother. Has absolutely fucked you up. But somehow you've woken up and you have most control of most of your emotions as per any other normal human being. What is going through your mind as you wake up knowing that at any moment a sneeze can change the fate of Sergeant Wescott and her future?
I have a feeling that they might not immediately wake her up until Kane asks for her to be woken up. Now, Watts, of course, would have been woken up at his regular time and getting ready to, rejoin his unit.
Watts would have gotten a ding from Mother to wake up and check in, and he's been released. In fact, if anything, Watts probably got a briefing before they went into FTL that all he had to do was finish the trip, and once he was woken up, that he could just rejoin the team. Paperwork filled out.
So Watts will be getting up, getting quick shower, getting dressed, and then jogging over there because he doesn't know what's going on, but he assumes he needs to be up and be quick back to Kane.
That's a safe assumption.
And he's not even he's literally popping out of bed, grabbing a shower, getting dressed in a clean uniform, and then about to head for Kane. But I'm pretty sure Kane is hauling ass faster than he is. So if he runs,
they're going to
he'll run
intersect
into
each
Kane
other.
as he's
passing.
Yeah.
Well, no, he will be walking out the door because Kane's faster.
Yeah. There will definitely be a moment of where they're looking at each other as they go by.
Well, no, he'll stop and go.
Pike, as he's jogging by, looks at his watch and says, "You have 19 more minutes. Assemble with the others."
Yes, Sergeant. Staff Sergeant. He half jogs down back, like he power walks down the hallway.
All right. You have entered medical. Wescott is awake and aware. She looks like she may have only been awake a few minutes.
They did not. They definitely would not have woken her up at the same time as everybody else,
Yeah.
especially if she's on medical hold.
Yeah, there's a doctor.
If they woke her up at all.
She's awake because as Pike enters, right behind you steps the ship's CMO, Chief Medical Officer. Oh, I didn't realize you would be in here as well. Came to check on my patient. And he flips open a clipboard. You know, one of the special clipboards that has like a case. He flips it open and he thumbs through his. Yes, Sergeant Wescott, Octavia. It is Octavia, right?
Yes.
I'm going strictly off memory. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How are we feeling today? Took some bumps and bruises.
Yeah, pretty decent. Thirsty as she's sitting there drinking the hydration pack.
Yes, that
everyone
happens. Well, shit. I guess I'm the only one here. There's no nurses. Let me grab you a hydration pack. I'll be back in just a moment. And he closes the clipboard, tucks it in his little oversized lab coat pocket that somehow magically fits all of this, disappears back out, leaving the two of you a moment or two to spend together, quietly, alone, seething at each other, perhaps. I don't know.
Pike doesn't waste any time. As soon as he closes the door to go into supply and get his hydration pack out of medical supply, Pike turns to Wescott and says, "Medic says you're unfit. I'm willing to fight for you. Are you willing to fight?"
Yes, sir, Staff Sergeant Pike.
Then you know all the right answers to give.
Mm-hmm.
I will drag you kicking and screaming as long as you're willing, but you have to be willing, and you've got to play ball.
You can't be a prophet, too. It was a joke back to your dream about dragging Wescott everywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm in a mood. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yeah. She head nods. She definitely starts getting out of said bed and shuffling clothing around because she's like knows that she's gonna have to go walk out past people to shower, and now she's waiting for a moment because she knows dude's coming back.
And
he will be very angry if he walks back and she's not standing here.
You've got 30 minutes to get that CMO to think that the medic was overreacting. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if on cue, that's when he comes back in with what is effectively what we would recognize as a Camelback, a liter and a half of hydrating fluids. And he sets it next to you on the bed and hands you the tube that you drink out of. He says, "Here you go. Enjoy." And he pulls out his clipboard, opens it back up, and then looks over to Staff Sergeant Pike, who you're in full uniform, like combat fatigues, I imagine, so he can see your name and rank and recognize who you are. Yes, you're the section lead, yes?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to need you to step out for these. I have some questions I need to ask of this young sergeant here.
I know the process. Wescott, if we are meeting up again, the briefing is in 37 minutes. I trust if you're not, looks over at the CMO. I'll know.
Yes, Staff Sergeant.
Follow procedures, of course, which is my answer for I'm not sure exactly what they would do at that moment, but so yeah, I think he'll actually no, I take that back. He's military, so he would probably recognize the fact that you're trying to make sure his maintain accountability of your troops and that nature. So he would say something more like, "I will make sure Mother passes a note if she is not available for this mission."
Thank you very much, sir.
Indeed.
And Pike will go wait in the hallway.
Okay. And the doctor will ensure the door is fully closed. Not that they're necessarily soundproof, but and then he'll grab one of the... Go ahead.
I want to imagine that there's some windows to be able to see in and out of medical, right?
Yeah, probably.
And Pike goes out the door, hits the button to close the door, walks 8 or 9 feet away from the door down the windows.
There's down the into the window.
And he's not going to look in. He's going to make a show of leaning his back against the window, so it's obvious that he's out of the way, he's not eavesdropping, and he's not looking.
But he's absolutely eavesdropping.
But he's absolutely right there.
Yeah.
Emotional support, Pike.
So the CMO,
kind of disturbing.
the The CMO, when Pike exits, he'll make sure the door is sealed, and then he'll come and drag that curtain to block the view of the window, and he'll sit down on one of those patented rolling doctor chairs. You know the one I'm talking about, right? It's just the circular cushion with no back, and it's on wheels.
They're awesome. I have them in my kitchen right now.
So he wheels that over, sits down on it, pulls out the clipboard, and he says, "So, I understand you have concerns about your mission readiness. Let's not think about mission readiness right now. Let's focus on what you need for you, your body, and your mind. My nurse has used the words mental health, concern, and suicidal ideation as recorded from fellow teammates. Before I go into any specific questions, one, I have to remind you, I am not a mental health professional. I am a physical health professional." And he kind of chuckles at his stupid little joke. And secondly, I already forgot where I was going with that, so we'll just play like he had something else, some other thing important to say. That said...
Medical jargonese.
Yeah, exactly. That said, what do you believe would motivate one of your team members to insinuate that you have mental health concerns and or suicidal ideations?
We were on leave. I was like, I'm not sure what he would be thinking of. We all sat there, drank, watched movies, hung out. So I don't really understand what the problem is.
Do you feel like you are a fully effective, fully contributing member of your team to whatever it is your team does?
Yes, of course. Frankly, I'm sure that my contributions are critical to our mission, as well as, the contributions of the Marines on our team.
Are you experiencing any desires or thoughts or even planning for harming yourself or anyone else?
No.
Are you sure? You seem to stall a little bit when you answered that.
Okay, look, we have...
I want to be clear before you continue, I realize I'm interrupting. He's not really looking at you very closely. It's almost like he's trying to read, and I'm trying to make it sound like these are questions typed out on a piece of paper, and he's reading them verbatim.
Oh, he is.
So he's not getting the full eye contact that, a mental health professional would probably be asking paraphrased versions of these questions while observing you and how you respond.
Sir, we're Marines. We occasionally have orders requiring us to harm others.
That's a flippant answer, Sergeant, and I appreciate the humor behind it. But
you asked, I gave you the correct answer to begin with. No, I do not have any plans to injure myself or others unless under orders.
Let me rephrase the question to make it more appropriate. Are you intending to hurt yourself or any other fellow Marines?
No.
The enemy, you can harm them all day long. That's what you're here for. But your fellow Marines and other crew members of this ship would, to put it lightly, would not be pleased. How are you feeling? And this time he does. Not quite lock eyes, but you could tell he's giving you the full, I'm a doctor scrutiny. Also, I meant to make the question similar to Star Trek's 4 Voyage Home. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel...
I believe the answer on that was...
still a little sore from our sparring session before cryo. And I'm kind of eager to get back to the rest of my squad. I should just have another fellow Marine getting out of medical today.
Yes. Thanks, Corporal Watts. We've already released him. He should be with us by now. All right. And he closes his clipboard. He stands up. He kind of gently kicks the wheelie chair up under a desk or something. And he says, all right, I'm going to have a nurse come in, take one last look at your vitals, make sure there's no lasting trauma for the head injury. And if all is good, you should be back with your team in about, he looks at his watch, 25 minutes or so. I believe, by the way, the answer to that question in Star Trek 4 was supposed to be, I feel fine.
That would have been a lie.
Vulcans do feel. Just putting it out there.
No, but she literally was in medbay because they knocked her out in sparring. To say she feels fine
Oh,
would have been a lie.
I'm only pointing out the Star Trek 4, the, God, what is it, Kolinar? Is that the thing that he was trying to do, that test he was taking? Anyway, it's immaterial. We're getting off track because I'm getting caught up in all my stupid other science fiction movie references. Needless to say, the nurse comes by, does the whole basic vitals check, checks your pupil dilation and the what's the word I'm looking for? The evenness of the dilation and how long it takes. Basically, she flashes a light in your eyeballs several times.
Mm-hmm.
And then checks your pulse, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your blood ox, and body temperature probably. And as she's doing it, you hear her go just every now and again. Every time she completes one of the tasks, as she scribbles down a note, she's like, okay, and now I'm gonna, okay, and now I'm gonna, and then that's it. 5 minutes after she's finished, she comes back. She says, "We have no reason to keep you here, Sergeant. Is there anything that you could think of that would keep you here?"
Nope. I need a shower, a clean uniform, and I have a briefing to catch.
She stands in the doorway in such a way that she means for you to leave and is trying not to obstruct it, but is actually partially obstructing the doorway.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, gives you the hand wave that says,
Wescott
"Please
looks
go."
to see how much time she has.
I think you're down to about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep it crunched.
Yeah. So, distance between here and their barracks room is probably going to be jogged, if not almost ran.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be sweating by the time you get to the
Literally
shower.
Through the shower, scrubs a little bit, flattens the hair out, hits the major points, back to clean uniform, around, grabs a snack pack and another hydration pack, briefing room.
I think, given the time, because Pike waited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you come out at a run, Pike starts running alongside you and is like, "Got a plan. We'll get you in the brief." It's like, as you run into the shower, he just like tears open your locker, gets your uniform out. He grabs a hydration pack and stuffs it in one of your cargo pockets. And he
Well, she has pre-made snack packets in there too.
Yeah,
She's the weirdo with the coffee beans.
And he'll like open up the little box you have on the bottom of your locker with all your little packaged beans and stuff. And he'll like grab a handful and stuff them in the other cargo pocket.
Yep.
So as you come out of the shower, he just like throws your uniform at you and says, "Get it on and get out. Everything you need is in your uniform."
Done. Probably the fastest set of dressing. And then she takes the 2 seconds and
You're not even dry. That's the worst part, is when you rush through getting dressed and you're still dry. You're still wet.
She takes the moment, she makes sure she lines up all of her buttons correctly, runs some fingers through her hair, briefing room. Because she knows our new colonel is weirdly picky about some things, so she makes sure the uniform's on correctly. Even if it is
I think
fatigues.
Do you guys do the two of you enter at the same time, or is Pike already there and Wescott is the last one?
Pike's gonna be waiting at the door.
Okay.
And so as soon as she walks in, he'll be standing there. If Colonel Arnold's not already in there.
Oh, he is. He's been there for the last so he gave you guys an hour and you told your team 30 and whatnot. He is extremely punctual at 15 minutes early.
Okay. So as soon as she runs through the door, he closes the door and he has his seat.
Okay. Yeah, and there he is with his clipboard, which is the old school clipboard, just a piece of wood and a metal clamp. And it's the yellow legal pad that he's got clamped to it because he's anachronistic or something. And Pike, when you enter, because in my head I'm picturing you entering right behind Wescott. He just gives you his patented exactly zero expression face, but the slightest of a nod. And then he he lifts his notepad and I'm going to read stuff. You can imagine that he's probably reading, not specifically right off of the pad, but this is Colonel Arnold speaking. We were en route to another location, but our mission orders have changed suddenly mid-transit. Excuse me. Currently, we are redirecting to our new target and providing you and your team a chance to plan as well as we can before arrival. Once we arrive, we will need to go into full op tempo immediately. And now for the briefing. For the past 2 months, anyone entering this sector of space has had vivid nightmares. One so bad that they are causing violence. Scientists on an asteroid in the GL 884 system vented their dome and blew themselves into space. The crew of the US CSS Dahlia murdered each other in horrific ways. I won't go into detail. This isn't a case of one maniac against the crew, by the way. This was the entire crew against each other. 1,300 miners in deep sleep arrived at LV-176 dead. Each had killed themselves in their cryo chambers while they were supposed to be sleeping. Intel has triangulated a central point to all the incidents, right where a decommissioned Wei-Yu network station sits. The thing is supposed to be off the grid, but it's active and transmitting some psycho shit that's causing colonists to go crazy. You're going in to retake the station. We could just nuke it out of the sky, but we can only assume it isn't the only one they've got. R&D wants to know what the fuck they are doing and how the fuck it works so we can counter it. Take prisoners, collect data, secure the weapon, and lock down the station. This is a decommissioned Wei-Yu installation, so we've got the original schematics for your perusal, but don't count on the layout being the same. They've probably changed a few things. We're giving you breaching charges for this one, just in case you need to make your own door to get in. You'll be driving yourselves in via service skiff. Don't worry, you'll be rigged for silent running, and the Tambatam will be on station in system and come to your aid when you've got a better grasp of the situation. We will be returning to cryosleep and FTL in about 2 hours. You have the next hour and a half to do any planning and prep that you feel the need to. And on the table in this briefing room, once I move some of my windows out of the way here, you'll get a floor plan. Scenes that I want? Nope, that's not the button to push. I want to right click, activate. Then, as it loads, you guys should see something called Talos.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe I have any of your markers on there, but you have a floor plan. I probably should also show this to viewers. So we have, trying to get this positioned in a decent way. Actually, we can chat too, so I can use up that space. Okay. So effectively what we are looking at is you have the two comms dishes. I should probably zoom this back a little bit so if you're viewing it, you can't see some of the detail on there because some of that detail is the GM's eyes. Anyway, you have the central, or I guess, actually, hold on. I think I have a description of the station itself. Give me just a second. Like a physical description, I should say. All right, so a couple of notes just for planning or consideration or lore. The Weyland-Yutani communication grid stretches across colonized space using a combination of manned relay stations and unmanned signal satellites to route messages to their destination. Collectively, this 40 parsec sphere around Earth is called the network. While network signals travel at FTL speeds, communications can still be slow, taking days or weeks to arrive, but obviously that's far better than not FTL. Thought I had at least some sort of a physical description in here other than what you're looking at. But it doesn't look like that. Each station is established... Oh, whoop, let me back up. The CN-class stations like Talos are situated in remote and out-of-the-way places on the fringes of inhabited... in the fringes of inhabited systems or in totally uninhabited star systems. Each station is established in a high geosynchronous orbit around a stable moon or planet. Located deep in the borderline region, Talos was retired by Weyland-Yutani about a decade ago. Some other things in here that is not prevalent for the players, so if you're watching the stream, don't take notes. That is also definitely not for the players to see. So in short, you have, if you want to think of kind of like a cylinder, and then at one end of that cylinder are the two big satellite booms, and then articulation and machinery needed to reorient the large satellite dishes in order to basically, receive from a very specific direction and send in a very specific direction. What you see is effectively what you get insofar as being able to get into and on the station. I will now leave it for you, either in or out of character, to try to figure out what sort of plan you would like. I want you to imagine you will be arriving on two-person skiffs that are intended for stealth and silent running and things of that nature, zipping in from the very edge of the solar system into the station. You have breaching charges and whatever other shit you can think of that Mother approves, bring with you. I will give you guys a few minutes to try to figure out what you want to do before you go back to sleepy sleep and probably unpleasant dreamy dream.
Is there any...
Go ahead.
Are there any staff expected to be on this location? Or is this thoroughly mothballed?
It's supposed to be mothballed. But considering what it's doing, it's a safe bet to assume that there may be people there. At least some extent, technical crew to keep the automated systems automated and running. Perhaps security element for their benefit. God only knows what else might be found. And I'm paraphrasing from what Colonel Arnold or anybody else would have said. But there is nothing confirmed, obviously, because nobody knows what exactly is going on.
Are these skiffs pressurized? Or are we going in compression suits?
That's a great question. They are in the book. So give me just a second so I can tell you what you're going with. You will have access. This is the out of character blurb, but basically this is what you get. You will be going in standard gear as well as Mark 35 compression suits, a Lunnar Wilson service skiff. It's not two people skiffs, it's I guess three. Anyway, sorry. Each skiff has, Jesus Christ, 2 skiffs total for the 5 of you. Each skiff has 2 Armat Type 4 breaching charges, a maintenance jack, a canister of CN20 nerve agent. The skiffs have limited passenger room, so you'll have to figure out. So the players will have to pilot small ships themselves. This is a covert mission, so the dropship will not be approaching the station until it's cleared. Without looking at the specific entry in the CMOM book for the Lunnar Wilson service skiff, I am assuming it is unpressurized because you're in a compression suit, but I could be wrong unless you want to look it up. I don't have the book open right this second, so. Also, considering you're zipping through space and being all super stealthy, probably not a bad idea to be in a compression suit just in case shit hits the fan en route.
For the way you designed this, are there onboard battery systems, or is it relying entirely on the reactor?
Off the top of my head, because again I prepped this like 3 or 4 weeks ago when the Olympics were still going on, I'm gonna say I don't believe there's much in the way of the batteries. I think the reactor creates enough power to keep everything running without worry or God, my brain just froze. Sorry. No batteries, probably, off the top of my head without looking at my notes. You can assume that there's probably some sort of power storage, but from judging based on these schematics, that it doesn't seem like there would be a lot of excess power being stored. So the reactor probably creates just enough power. Basically, it's meant to be as efficient and small as possible, so not a lot of excess power is created. If that makes any sense the way I rambled through that answer.
These panels, where the wall looks different at the mess, are those like, is that viewing?
Give me 1 second. Oh,
Is that windows?
yeah, let's go with windows. That makes sense that in the mess area, similar to like, 10 forward on the Enterprise, that you would have structural weak points there for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's one of my biggest flaws with Star Trek in general, or any modern sci-fi, is the bridge is always at the top front of the ship, where the easiest place to blast into space, instead of using the entire ship to protect it.
It's the reason why some people made giant spheres or cubes.
Yeah. David Weber, by the way, who wrote the Honor Harrington series of novels and a bunch of other shit, got it right.
Yeah. So the nerve agent that's on the skiffs, what does it do?
It's a nerve gas.
Is
it's
it killer
lethal.
or is it just knockout?
It's lethal.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a non-lethal nerve gas option?
Non-lethal nerve gas. That's
okay. You could get non-lethal gas option.
Like annoying gas.
Sleeping gas, preferably knockout gas.
Laughing gas.
Here's my initial thought. We ride these skiffs in. We bring equipment that we can use to cut through these windows. And that'll be our breach. Explosive decompression of this deck.
So just wipe the whole thing clean with compression.
Well, decompression, but yes. Well, just that deck.
I mean, a lot of this station, most stations and everything that Pike knows about ship combat or ship boarding is that when you're starting to get an explosive decompression, most of these compartments should seal to protect environmental pressure. So if we blow the mess, it should seal all of these crew cabins. It should also seal this elevator, and it should seal the power control room.
Well, there's two elevators there in the middle deck. One goes up, one goes down.
But that means that we can go room to room.
But these should stay sealed. All of these should also stay sealed. So anybody who's there and wasn't just eating breakfast should be trapped in trying to deal with us being on the dish.
That's a pretty good point.
We explosive decompress the mess. We board from the mess. We rush to the power control room. We breach this door, and we power down all systems on the ship, including environmental. And as long as nobody comes and fights us in compression suits, which we will protect ourselves for, that's important. I'll call that later. Then we can time this based on volume of air that we knock everyone unconscious through lack of oxygen. That gives us plenty of time to use these tables. We can weld over the holes we put through these windows and the weak points, and we can repressurize so we can organize prisoners.
I really feel like suffocating a bunch of people to death would be something that the medic would be like, no, I don't think so.
I mean,
the medic or your medic? Because your medic ought to be like, all right, fuck it, let's go, kill them all.
Not necessarily.
Well,
I'm just joking. Don't.
Well, the other set area with windows is the comm center or the control center, which would be a good option to pop in because it won't vent the entire section. And it's right next to the life support. So if we seal it back up, we could. I mean, we could also just breach through one of the airlocks because there are two on here.
I mean, my concern about trying to take the control center is that if it is manned, like it probably is, that will be manned. And even if we take the control center, a lot of primary systems can be controlled through power control. I want to power down the transmitters on this as quickly as possible, so that whatever spooky shit is going on is affecting us for the shortest amount of time possible. And the easiest way to stop the operation of a system is to turn it off.
Well, the other problem is that'll vent the middle of the deck B and deck C, because there is an open stairwell between them. So the central area of deck C will be vented along with the mess area of deck B.
I will point out that in the event of explosive decompression, it will trigger alarms and reactive systems that will shut basically the big power blast resistant shield doors dropping down out of walls. So in theory, while you won't necessarily know where exactly those walls or doors or whatever will be, it's safe to assume that as you vent deck B, deck A will start to react and also seal itself off in order to preserve it, and then repressurize.
We have the okay. So that type of system is basic fundamental stuff of the structure of the station itself, and would be very difficult to change. It's not as difficult to like say knock out a wall or move a door in some cases, but the full-on blast systems to lock things down would be a lot harder to change. So
yeah, that's usually implemented as like whatever the Alien Space 80s version of OSHA would be like, no, you cannot put a space station in space without having these blast shield doors being able to drive.
Well, and they take up so much space inside the structure that moving them would be almost impossible after the place is built.
Right.
So we should have at least a good idea of where they are.
I mean, standard doctrine in this scenario is for us to use maintenance jacks to breach the outer door of the main docking umbilical, seal it behind us to maintain pressurization, breach these doors in order to gain entry, and having two teams, one to take power control to stop self-destruct and the other to take control center to remove command and control. But it's also going to give us the most amount of resistance.
I think Eckhart is there with you. And she does point out that it does look like one option is to dock at the auxiliary, work your way through to the comm relay operations hub, those workstations there. That could be a way to shut things down quickly as far as the outgoing system, outgoing.
And we would take control of the armory.
Is there an armory down there that I missed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's the armory?
The only armory, actually.
It's
on deck A.
Am I not seeing it? Why am I not seeing it?
It's
Deck A.
Oh, because it's got a symbol. Not. Oh, it actually has words right there. Yeah. So she points that out, and Wescott says, "And the armory," and she's like, "Oh shit, yeah, I didn't even notice that." But she's like, "Yeah, I bet if she doesn't say we because she's not going on this particular part of the plan." But she says, if you guys get into the auxiliary, you might be able to go and shut down the comm relay ops hub, as well as securing that armory. And then from there, it's a matter of either climbing externally to continue the rest of the mission or utilizing the elevator, which is probably not the smart plan.
No, they're going to lock down the elevator.
But you will be in the operations hub. And if worse comes to worse, you've got a couple of breaching charges. I bet if you find some weak spots on those gimbal arms, you can disrupt the satellite dish's operational capability from there. Possibly via EVA.
Eggheads will be mad if we break it. But
this station's supposed to be this station is decommissioned. It's not even supposed to be running, but it is. So decommissioning it in that way probably won't matter. This is Eckhart talking, by the way.
If it's got interior maintenance access way, then we should be able to yank enough cables to make it ineffectual.
Yeah, yes. Eckhart also then closes her opening statement with, I mean, the colonel did say they would just nuke it if we weren't trying to figure out how to counter whatever psycho batshit crazy thing they're pumping out of this place. So break whatever you need to break. That's my opinion. Don't listen to me. I'm just a dumb lieutenant that flies things.
I was expecting her to close her clipboard too, and
not everybody has a clipboard, man. You got to be special.
All right.
You have to be an important NPC to have one of those.
We now know what her next present is.
A clipboard. You gotta get Pike's face emblazoned on the clipboard, the pseudo cardboard wood part of it. Not emblazoned. What's the word I'm looking for? Engraved.
Embossed.
Engraved.
Engraved. Yes. Like rhinestone
Oh,
Rhinestone Pike.
bedazzle it.
Rambling's good.
Oh man, that's the second game in a week. References bedazzling. One more, I get an achievement, but unfortunately, this is the last game before Rogue Trader, which had the first. By the way, I'm still picturing skull bedazzling. By the way,
Yeah. But in any case, if we want information, then venting a significant portion of the station satellite will prevent us from getting people information for sure. So that is a mark against going through the windows.
the flight
Okay.
chief does point out that
Well, because
you-
if we want prisoners, we can't just vent half the station.
the flight chief
True.
will speak up briefly, and he also does not have a clipboard. He does have what looks like a cup of coffee in his hand, but it's not a coffee cup. It's a thermosy kind of thing. It's like a space 80s. If you've ever seen The Expanse and you watch the episode where the Donager gets blown, not Donager, yeah, the Donager gets blown to shit. The captain lady has her little teacup, not teacup, like the water bottle cup. He's got one of those, except it says U.S. Colonial Marines all over it. But anyway, he speaks up and he says, "You may not get much information from the people, but I bet you all those computers aboard have records of whatever they're doing, especially if this is some sort of experiment," which this really gives me the heebie-jeebies that this is some sort of experiment.
That's my other
Yeah.
concern. If we drop power, it stops them from being able to access the data servers to wipe them.
A fair point. And then he takes a sip from his coffee and sits back down. Lets you,
Yeah.
So
So
let's-
I mean,
lets the
Space.
lets the jarheads do the planning because, you know, he's just there to help fly him in.
I mean, the most direct route to power control is through the mess. If we don't go through there and we assume they're going to lock the elevators, then a team's going to have to go from the main airlock down the stairs to try to seize power.
Right. And we are presumably going to encounter quite a bit of resistance, is what we're expecting. That's why we're trying to do a breach.
Colonel Arnold speaks up and says, "I cannot speak to what kind of resistance, if any, you will find. This could be an entirely automated operation, or it could be loaded to the brim with UPP commandos. And anything in between." And he says that all with a dead face, no emotion, no clipboard. He set it down on his
No
podium.
clipboard.
Yeah, he put it down on his
Given-
podium.
Given capacities,
He has a podium.
He has a podium.
given cabin capacity and the size of this, I want to plan for I want to plan for 12 enemy personnel. Past that is really sort of unfeasible, and better than that's only good news for us when we get there.
I look up the technological limitations of life support.
Okay. That sounds like you're about to make
Well,
a
what
roll
is-
of some sort.
No, literally, it should have a defined amount of maximum life support potential for a station of like this.
Sure.
Yeah, CO2
I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a number, but I can. If you pass
I
this,
look it up because that will inform us of the maximum capacity, unless they've obviously jury-rigged life support.
yeah. Give me Comtech.
Okay.
Make your panic roll. As the idea of using. Okay.
Are you
Okay.
okay?
So, the idea of looking up the life support specs and calculating the maximum number of people that could be housed comfortably versus crisis situation, the idea of people being stuck in what is otherwise a tin can with bat wings, the idea somehow gets into the back of your head that you are one of those people in the tin can with bat wings, and maybe something in your dream seeps to the front of your mind when you were on what you thought was either a space station or a spaceship. You're not sure. Looking at these deck plans, they almost remind you of some of the passages that you were running through, hiding or running away from something before you had those moments of safety and security and comfort. But then also you realize that it looks like you've got capacity for comfortable survival of somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 people. And a small nervous twitch. And
Pretty on with Pike's estimate.
everybody
about
else
12.
in the room also increases stress by 1.
Oh,
Yep,
great.
I already recorded my stress.
Because they
All
see
right.
you as you're looking it up in your little data pad or flipping through a tech manual or something. They see you get that nervous twitch, and they visibly feel whatever it is, that trepidation that tickles the back of your spine.
Ugh.
Yes, thank you for giving me a dream that involved a space station. That was very fortuitous for me as a narrator for the story.
All right. How about here's a thought. Winston and Warren. Warren, you drove the EPC, yeah?
Yeah, I can drive a
I can drive
Space
anything,
boat.
man. I'm sorry. Let me shut up. You guys go ahead. Sorry.
I
All
can
right,
drive a
so-
space boat.
Nice. So you Winston and Warren
Yep.
takes the auxiliary docking umbilical to try to
Yep.
early seize the armory and make sure there are no operators for this comm relay.
Got it.
I take Wescott and Watts through the main docking umbilical. We will. Our first objective is to seize the control center to try to make sure that they don't have anybody to wipe the data servers.
Mm-hmm.
Our second objective is to seize power control.
So
Yeah.
take the bottom and the top and meet in the middle.
That's what it sounds like to me, but don't let me get in the way.
I don't know if that elevator is going to be locked down or not. I'm planning for it to be locked down. When we get to the control center, we could try to release the lock on it if it's going to be fast. Otherwise, I don't want to leave somebody behind there. I want to be 3 strong since we're going to be taking the majority of the station.
Hey, don't breaching charges work well on elevator doors?
Yes.
They also work really well at stopping elevators from working. We don't know
Yes.
what elevation the elevator will be at.
You can always roll a 1d3, but I'll wait until you get there to figure that out.
Well, there's 2
I just wanna-
elevators, and they each only connect 2 floors.
So
Yeah.
since we nitpicked a couple things already,
Sure.
is this elevator using the gimbaled weight system, or is this like mag? Because if they're simulating a gravity, they could use the weighted system of a normal elevator, which a breaching charge would probably disrupt.
I kind of want to punch you and I kind of want to hug you. I don't know which one I want to do, Luke.
Okay, there's
It's a
artificial
fucking
gravity in this
elevator,
world.
man. I'm sorry. That might have been a little
Since
too
we
much.
nitpick,
Yeah, no,
since we
that's
nitpick,
that is a fair nitpick.
it's
Unfortunately,
a joke though.
yeah, no,
It's a
I know,
joke.
but I will say that there is no official published information about the elevators and the construct thereof. However,
saying,
I will point out that somebody made a Comtech roll digging through some of the specs for the station, so maybe one of her additional questions is something about the elevators, and now you'll force me to make some bullshit up. It's
I'm
2
just
water
saying
bottles
is-
tied together and hung over an end.
I'm just saying this is the second time, and the first time I said this was during the first session.
Yeah.
Was is the gravity generated by some sort of gravity generators, or are we using gravity by thrust? And why can't we have heated floors?
Remember we had the whole
As soon as you
conversation
said
about
something in the
the
first
heated
session, I was
floors?
like, he's gonna throw in a heated floor reference. And now all I can think of is like a couple sessions later, Pike was like, I don't know, do they have heated floors? Are these heated floors at GM? I don't remember exactly what you said, but
Yeah, that's my current working plan right now.
That's not a bad plan.
Yeah,
you
it
get a
makes
thumbs
sense.
up from Eckhart and the flight chief. They seem to agree that your plan is at least marginally feasible. Colonel Arnold has no expression on his face. He's just been observing. Every now and again, he makes a quick note in his clipboard. And at one point, he just looks up when it kind of quiets down and doesn't seem like there's much else to consider or discuss. He just looks over to you, Staff Sergeant, and he says, is that it, Staff Sergeant? Anything else?
Equipment requests.
Equipment request.
Yes.
Holy ASMR, Batman. Please don't whisper in my ear again. Colonel Arnold just looks at you, says, "What would you like?" And how do I tell you no? But he doesn't say it in a smart ass tone. It's deadpan. It's just flat, and not exactly those words. He uses other.
The oh God, what's the designation for those taser grenades? G2?
Oh,
Don't
you mean
remember.
the ones that I already have a couple of?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're G2 electroshock grenades.
I'm requesting an issue of G2 electroshock grenades for everybody with a pulse rifle.
Your intention is to stun lock your opposition if found. I think he actually uses the word stun lock as though he's played some sort of MMO before.
That's why
Well,
he has no expressions.
Yeah,
I'm anticipating
it
that
might be.
I'm anticipating that a call for surrender will go ignored, so I'm giving them one chance to be taken alive each.
You may distribute 4 across your team.
Okay.
He makes another note on his clipboard. That does not, by the way, I want to point out, have Sergeant Pike's face. Oh God, I already forgot the word again.
He's not doodling on a picture of
No,
Pike's face.
he's not doing it. He's actually taking legit notes. He's a good,
wow.
studious colonel. He probably shouldn't be a field commander, but he's a good colonel.
Do you need any additional equipment to seize control of the station? He looks over at Wescott.
She has all. I'm double checking what's on the contact. She's got her
I should
electronic
probably
tools.
give
She
you
got
those
her
grenades, huh?
seeks and diagnostics. You can steal them off of my sheet. My character already has 2 as part of her standard kit, so you can copy them to the others.
Oh, that's right. Because if I don't have to drag them, they'll just reiterate or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You could drag and drop and it'll copy the item.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. That's the easiest way. I can't see the other sheets, so you can drag and drop it from mine.
Yep. So I'm gonna put all 4 of them on Pike. Pike, can you? The players can't move them.
I can carry this.
Well, no. My question was, I was gonna put all 4 on you, and then you could disseminate as needed. But then I realized that you on this player can't do that. If you were the
correct.
whatever the fuck tech support account, you could.
I mean, given that we have 5 people and one of us already has them, you just put 1 each on the other 4 people.
Okay.
Well,
and it's 1.
I could put 1 on Watts myself.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you got 1 on Watts. So I'd put 1 on Pike, and then 1 on Warren, and 1 on Winston. Give me a moment to actually do that though, because I had to pull up their character sheets. So inventory. G2. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Winston has his, and he's overweight. Warren has his, he is more overweight. And Pike has his head. Oh, hey, we actually got his thing to move.
Pike's a big boy.
Well, it said 1 kilo, so I think he didn't really have much already equipped as it was.
My other stuff is in the footlocker because I'm not wearing it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I throw all that on. I'm still at like less than half.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the only additional piece of kit I need. We've got the skiffs, and we're already getting breaching charges.
And you probably still have plenty from the previous missions because nobody ever actually tried to recollect them because the GM's lazy and forgets things. Or
hey, it was issued, and they all got combat lost.
Yes, they all got combat lost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna open up one of y'all's lockers. There's gonna be 2 barrels of fucking explosive bullshit from the Blaze of Glory mission.
Oh, there's no way that we could put those in a locker. So
that was why I wanted to make the joke because here's this big 50-gallon drums of like TNT or whatever, liquid TNT.
They're not even in the lockers, just next to them.
Just next to them, ratchet strapped down.
Ratchet strapped down.
No, we've got them strapped to the wall underneath the cornbread machine, and somebody spray painted water on the side of each of them. They're listed as non-potable water.
Oh, I am so glad, by the way, that the Army figured that shit out and started putting the word water into the plastic molding of the water cans. Oh man.
I think we're gonna. I would like to get a set. I'd like to try to get a set of electrical tools.
Okay.
for
What are you attempting to do?
Watts.
So that Watts can. What do electric tools do again? Are those the like door breach, electrically breach sort of deals?
I mean, it does the same thing. It gives them a bonus
the
die to
Comtech.
Comtech rolls.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Wescott has that one because it's part of the standard Comtech Marine kit.
Yep.
But yeah,
I'm using because I'm using the justification that Watts is a nerd marine. He's a Seaburn.
I thought Winston was the Seaburn.
no,
Winston's the medic.
Winston's the medic.
Jesus Christ. Never mind. Okay. Yeah.
Jeez, get your W's correct.
Yeah.
Have you looked? I'm just waiting for him to realize what the last name is of the backup Marine.
Is it Walker?
No.
Williams?
It's worse.
It's so much worse.
Wendowski or Wazowski or Winchlinski or some sort of Polish bullshit that I can't speak?
It's pronounced
Yes.
as a V instead of a W, but it's spelled with a W.
Vladislav? No, I'm not going into the.
Yeah, have fun with with this one.
Is it King Wenceslas the Lazy?
But I'm trying to
Kingdom
justify
Come
that
reference?
because
nice.
Watts is also a nerd marine.
Okay.
And he has contact skill.
All right. Yeah.
I wanna
That.
get him
Go ahead. I will drag and drop from. Oh, Watts, you could,
because it's on mine.
you could do that, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and drag that over. I think you get a bit of a
The non-entrenching E-tool.
you get a slight narrowing of gaze from Colonel Arnold, but he approves. And he justifies it. You probably will never read his notes, but he justifies it as Watts and Wescott not being on the same teams for this assault. And maybe a backup electro hacker is not a bad idea.
Actually, that does make a good point. Watts should go in with the other side, down with the comms stuff, if I'm coming in the top side with Kane.
Yeah, that
Or
is kind of
Pike.
my
Oh,
plan.
I see the character now, by the way. Fuck you. I'm looking at the character folder, and the first thing I see is PFC Zachariah something or other, and then I look above that and it says, Observer, I am nobody. Oh, that sounds like some shit I would write. And then I see, motherfucker. Okay, anyway. Sorry, that was totally disruptive. Please continue.
Yeah, so if
But yeah, I
Watts
kind of want
is-
to send Watson Warren in the bottom.
Okay.
Because we are going to be probably taking the heavy lifting for combat. I want the medic with us.
Yes, and once we get breach, they're going to be locked into the third floor without access to the other two until we unlock the elevators.
Yeah.
Unless they circle around outside, and that'll take time.
Mm.
And it should give Watts the tools he needs to break into the relay hub to try to turn it off if he can get it down faster than us.
And if that doesn't work, they can spacewalk and blow up the satellite dishes off the side of the station.
I just
You
want
Now,
to state.
suspiciously like that moment we had with some grenades not that long ago.
But
I
Pike
just wanna
hard
say that,
knows we are not demoing the station. He can
No.
use his skills to disconnect cables to try to disconnect the dishes from the system so they can't transmit anymore. But I do not want those dishes removed from the station.
Understood.
The nerds are going
So-
to need it if they're going to figure out how to turn these things off elsewhere.
If we do have to do the spacewalk, Warren has a space sub ASO 400 harpoon grappling gun.
Nice.
Might be helpful.
This I realize will be helpful, probably.
Is that the thing that lets you grab back onto the structure if you float?
It's a 0G grappling gun.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Also,
Its usefulness comes up
weapon in a
super
pinch.
rarely, but it's amazing when you need it.
Yeah, I've wanted to grapple gun someone at some point. And maybe this will be the day, but I don't know yet.
I'm taking a few notes for myself so I can plan accordingly for the session.
Yeah, so go in both airlocks, send the two secondary characters down with the appropriate tools. The other three come in the main section through the main airlock. We beelined for the command center, take the command center, then move down to try to take control of the power center, while the two in the bottom take care of the comm center and shut down satellite dish connections.
Yeah, what I have is Watson Warren attack level A to take out the comm relay ops and shut down transmission from there if possible, or something along those lines. And then Pike, Wescott, and Winston hit the main docking port to take the control center, seize control of the station and the systems. And then some other notes strictly for me, what my people will be doing in response, which is basically launching a full-scale attack with the entire 7th Fleet.
What the I don't even think we have a
It's
7th
also-
Fleet, but okay.
Who said anything about the USCSS? Maybe I was talking about the UPP Space Navy. Whatever they're...
This also
The MSS, I think it's called.
I'm pretty sure they're not aircraft carriers in space either.
This also puts it splits our machinery. Because
Yeah.
Watts is a heavy machinery expert, and I'm also a heavy machinery expert.
You're just a heavy machinery.
Well,
I
it's a
am
strength-based
heavy
skill.
machinery.
He only needs like 1 point to be kick-ass in it. With his-
I already am, and I don't have any points in it.
He's
And
just
I'm
like,
gonna have
you need
I'm
the
gonna have
door
maintenance
open?
jack from
Okay,
this skip.
shove.
Cool. Can we try really hard to get him a check in heavy machinery and Westcott a check in manipulation today?
I've already got
Just so we could pass them so I could buy manipulation and he can buy heavy machinery properly?
I've already had the opportunity before to buy points in heavy machinery, and I just haven't bothered. So remember the first ship, the Glory of the Proletariat? I was forcing doors open.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
true.
I do remember that. In fact, he banked one of those rolls because he did so well on it. So he can keep
Yeah.
doing it. All right. Again, after a few minutes of more continued discussion about various points and finer sub-points, Colonel Arnold simply slaps his clipboard against the podium. Not slap, but like just a tap, tap, tap. He says, "Is there anything else? We have about 5 minutes before we need to get back into our cryo bays."
Sounds like we're getting back in cryo, sir.
Excellent. See you on the other side. There is no I realize I'm very poor voice actor for this guy, but he has like it's exactly deadpan. It's all level, it's all flat. He might as well be a Vulcan, but even Vulcans have vocal inflection. Again, with the Star Trek shit. See, notice I'm trying something different this episode. Star Trek instead of Star Wars. I'm a fucking nerd, and I live
He's
it.
an android without the emotional
His data.
regulator.
He's Data. Again, Star Trek. Okay. Yeah, so let's see.
Good news is you passed your empathy roll this time, so you get to wake up at no stress.
Indeed. And you can reset your panic. However,
God, do I need
Uh,
another one?
well, you will need to make another roll when you wake up on the other end. But considering the time and what all those things may entail, I'm going to move that we close a little early tonight.
Okay.
We will
Okay.
begin the next session, which hopefully will be next week's. Speaking of, are we good for next week? Is everybody good?
Yeah.
Next week, Tuesday, is the 3rd. 2nd? 3rd.
Did
Is
we-
the 3rd.
Wait, isn't it Labor Day next weekend?
It
or
is.
next week?
It is.
Is that like interfering with our sessions at all?
Not for me.
Hmm.
I get 3 days off instead of 2. I'm going to tell my boss I'm using one of my vacation days so I can get paid for that day instead of getting 9 days on my next paycheck. Which kind of sucks, but also you do what you got to do to keep the money flowing, I guess. Since I can't
Yeah.
go out there and shake my ass. Nobody's paying for that.
I do.
What? No,
did
no
you-
selling feet pics for you?
I don't think anybody would take it. Like, you'd have to be a really sick motherfucker to take that. I'm sure somebody out there would. I mean, there's like 8 billion people on this planet. Somebody's going to want to see what my feet look like, but I am not doing it.
Omar OnlyFans confirmed.
No, fuck off.
Did you make a ruling on whether or not the nap relief, because it's getting really high to reduce stress, if that would work on Westcott and open up the door for drug abuse?
Oh, absolutely. I don't remember if I did or not, but I'm going to say
Okay.
yes, because one main reason. I want to pile some more mental bullshit on Wescott for the sake of her character. Like, it
Drug
makes narrative
abuse.
sense that if she hits the nap relief too often, she's going to fall down that hill much faster than the average bear.
I would like to then take 2 nap relief from the medic,
And do what with them?
put them in my
Okay.
inventory.
Okay.
I'm not going to use them. So
On
if we
yourself?
if we get separated for some reason,
Uh-huh.
then I still have the option to tell Wescott she's juicing.
Why do I envision Pike has got her in a headlock and then slapping her with a nap relief needle?
Oh, she's like got her pinned, and he's got the other hand with the injector. Like, you're taking this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. You're taking this.
I could just
You're
see
taking this,
the-
and you're gonna love me for it. All right, you're gonna have
Yeah.
to. Can you adjust the quantity because it says 8
Yep.
there? Thank
Yep, I adjusted it.
you. For the viewers, I want to be clear. I did not intend this series to illustrate or be a platform for mental health awareness or anything of that nature. However, it really feels narratively appropriate to give Wescott the opportunity to not only experience all the things of mental duress, but to also have to deal with things like drug abuse, because it's so closely interrelated. And again, I want to point out, we're not doing this to make fun of it. We will crack jokes because that's what we do. Me specifically, and these guys usually. But it's all for good fun. And again, I did not intend to be on a soapbox for a lot of this stuff, but it is helpful because let's be aware of our own mental health needs and those of the people around us to the best of our ability. At any rate, is there anything else we need to hit on before we move into the closing of the session a bit earlier than normal?
Man, this poor backup character we made might have to just come in one of these days anyways, because it's freaking hilarious.
It'd be a
Movie
shame
6?
not to play the character, but I also want to see how
Uh,
hard we can drag Wescott through the rest of
Oh, no,
this.
no, at this rate, it's going to be somebody else who gets replaced with the backup character
That's,
instead
I
of
think that's what's
Wescott.
going to happen is,
It's just going to be the replacement for whatever character goes next.
yeah, whether it's, I mean, my money right now is on Wescott, who, if I recall, her Deadpool had nothing to do with mental health problems. Her
It
He was
Deadpool,
using bodyguard and
Bodyguard.
dying.
yeah, taking a bullet for somebody, and now it's no, is she, man, that was about
I
to be a
think that,
really horrible
honestly,
joke.
She might still end up going that way. We'll see.
She might still end up going that way, taking a bullet for herself. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because it's not exactly a joke, but I don't want people to misunderstand what I was saying. So,
Well, I would lose that Deadpool because it's specifically that she dies using the bodyguard talent. That was my
yeah,
my vote.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pike still needs to die punching a xenomorph in the face.
You've done it once. Didn't you kill one doing that?
I Sparta kicked one into a wall and it took all of his fucking hit points. But he succeeded in his death throws, whatever, to regain a hit point and run away. So we started chucking grenades at him while he was fleeing.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so my bets were Warren dies doing something dumb, Watts dies trying to disarm a trap, Wescott dies to a random stray object, Winston dies to a contagious disease, and then Pike is
so
dies
powerful
to a
was he
Xeno
that he
in
could
the
save
face
everybody
that then
else's
eats him.
lives except his own.
Yeah, because it looks like Pike says he dies to a super lame, avoidable non-combat death.
That also, yeah, like tripping and falling off a cliff.
No, it's gonna be like it'd be like we're in one of those drop pods and it just gets shot down.
Yeah.
He just gets killed in an entry vehicle.
Something that he had absolutely no control
Yeah, that's
over.
what I think Kane bet.
Yeah.
I'm the one who bet him getting punching a Xeno.
Or like, we board a station and there's some damage and he tries to fix a thing and there's a sudden explosive decompression. He just gets sucked out into space and dies. Like, something
Yeah, and he
where
won't
there
even
wasn't
die.
anything he could do, He'd just be like,
The fucked up part is he gets sucked out into space and he doesn't die right away.
Yeah.
He dies like 4 hours later when the oxygen runs out.
Ooh, sad.
But
He
by that
dies
point, he's
very
got
angry.
so much. He'll have so much escape velocity from being sucked out that nobody can get to them in time. Not necessarily like spaceships or whatever, because it would be hard for a spaceship to be able to pull that off, realistically speaking. But anyway, all right. So yes, we are going to end a little bit early, only because the next section kind of gets. I'm
Heavy
hesitant.
quickly?
I'm just hesitant to start another chapter or whatever you want to call it. Right, this late at night in the session. So, in order to end,
Do we have anything weird that happens right as we wake up?
Of course.
Ah.
Well, I mean, your definition of weird might be different than mine. Yeah.
I mean, just gotta pile on the stress when we wake up. And
Oh yeah, I do. Come on, man.
And
That's the only way I'm gonna win. Is just I've realized I can't kill you guys outright. I have to be sneaky.
And he talked about like people going insane and killing each other. So how much you want to bet those are rolled to see if Pike kills the rest of you?
Next session, first words out of my mouth after we do all the intro shit is like, all right, well, Pike, I need you to roll wits.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Hey, team, you're fucked.
So what happens is Pike just carries around an unconscious Wescott wherever he goes because it's kind of sad and depressing.
Because
like
of
an
his
overgrown teddy
crazy
bear.
dream, he just subconsciously drags your body after he kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dragging it along. Not even sure why. Wescott's head is just lolling off to one side at a really weird angle that's not natural.
We get the dropship docks afterwards, and the ramp closes, and like, what are you doing? Dragging her across the finish line. It's just like her corpse as he's dragging her onto the dropship.
It's her corpse, and like her legs are gone from the knees down. One arm is just straight missing. The only reason why you're able to drag her at all is because of the drag strap on the back of her kit. All right.
Insane
Dark.
Pike would be
Yeah.
pretty dark.
Really dark. All right, XP.
It's only an RPG. The fact that we've all survived till this point is a freaking miracle.
Miraculous, yeah.
Or I
We
have.
should have been
Let's
dead
be
several
fair.
times over.
Some of those miracles were me rolling shitty.
Yes, that's still covered under miracle.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. Okay, excuse me. Let's see. Experience points. You participated, so yes, you get a point. I don't think anybody risked or sacrificed anything to further your agendas. I will take arguments. We didn't do. I mean, like narratively, there wasn't a whole lot there, as far as that goes. Also, did you risk your life for your buddy? No. Anybody stand up to their rivals? I don't believe so.
No.
Well, Pike,
No.
it's really shaky, but you kind of stood up to Wescott and told her to like, hey, don't say the real answer, say the right answer. If you want to be back on the team. But that's really, really shaky. And I'm arguing. I feel like I'm arguing with
I'll
you
take
guys.
it if you're giving it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just realized I'm on the wrong side of this argument.
Yeah, I mean, right now she has Pike listed as a rival, so she could probably make the point of she did it out of spite of getting
Fuck
back
it.
up and
Both
getting.
you get one. Fuck it. Fuck it. You know what? Once upon a time, somebody with the name of Arthur asked his GM to give a little extra XP. And in turn, that allowed me to get a little extra XP. So now I'm going to give it to you two. Now you two have to pay it forward.
Yeah, that won't take me very long.
Because you're gonna be GMing a Star Wars game in a few days.
I'm GMing 2 games right now, so yeah, it won't take me long to pay that back.
Wescott, you get another one because you made a panic roll. Actually, I think you made 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you still only get
Nah.
1, but
was
we
just
had
a
no
lot.
dangerous events. We had no significant discoveries or revelations.
You mean other than creepy dream people?
Okay, there was 2 talking. I can only listen to 1. I'm sorry if that sounded a little rough. I meant it more as a
Okay,
joke.
we
than
said
anything
it
else.
basically the same thing in 2 different ways because he said nightmare, I called it creepy dream people. That's
And that
not a
came
major
out-
revolution.
And then that got brought up in the briefing as part of the station. It's like
Ah.
they're doing a psyop that can reach us without radios. Like, that's pretty significant. And it drives people insane to kill each other. That's also, I mean, We're here to secure
all right,
a
all right.
significant discovery, right?
All right, every character gets 2 more experience points. The second experience points comes from getting paid, and that will cover experience points because you have pushed your limits to the limit.
Hey, gotta try,
Um,
right?
I know. I don't. And listen,
So
I appreciate the hustle. I respect the hustle. I don't like being hustled, but I understand the hustle. Go ahead, Ro. I think you're going to say something.
I just am like, what do I give Watts next? You know what? I'm gonna give him another point of contact because I feel like he might need this.
That's not a bad idea when you're getting ready to go on a mission that may or may not include playing with computers.
Wescott has 16 points she's sitting on right now, and I'm not sure what to spend them on.
You should spend those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's
on
gonna
what?
be really. It's gonna be hard to keep track of your XP when all those bubbles are full.
Yeah. Like, what do I even spend them on? Because she can't buy heavy machinery. She already has an effective contact roll of 11.
And that wasn't a successful roll, whatever it was for. Oh, that was a wits roll.
Yeah, I'm rolling for my to see if I pick up another talent. But we all know. Oh, I'm a private right now. Hold on. We all know that this shit's not happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, what talent are you looking for?
it's a 1 in
I got
6 chance.
I got a list of 4 that I'm rolling through.
Well, I'm just asking in case someone else has it on their sheet.
Oop, there we go. I wanted to get. I was rolling for. Oh, I guess I didn't have to roll for one of those. Rapid reload, fast reflexes, and field commander.
Somebody else has rapid reload, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Watts has both rapid reload and rapid fire.
I have rapid fire.
Yeah, but Watts picked up rapid reload.
All right,
You're
Luke,
big.
we're going to start with you because you didn't get
Okay.
a lot of screen time, and not because you don't have a camera right now, but only because you didn't get really a lot of interaction. Let's get some sort of feedback and outro-y thoughts and whatever else you might have to add.
Other than sneezing for the last like 5 minutes,
Well,
I don't know what took
I guess
me
it's a
over.
good thing you don't have a camera because I'm sure at some point I would have seen you sneezing even if I didn't hear it, and I probably would have laughed. And I would not have laughed at you. I'd have just been laughing at the idea of you sneezing a bunch.
Oh yeah,
Anyways,
no, it was excessive. I'm
I'm
still-
very easily amused.
still leaking.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a visual.
So I know that's the visual that you're not getting because I don't have a webcam. Yeah. So this next mission is actually going to be pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, you think so? Assaulting a space
Yeah.
station and hoping it goes your way?
Well, there's a few things that could go wrong, but
A
I
few?
like that.
Have you met me?
Yeah. I mean, a few things that
Have
can
you
go
played
right
a
too. I've
role-playing
met you
game
also.
ever? I'm sorry. I'm talking over you. Please continue.
Yeah, there's a few things that can go right too. I know you enough for that too. So narratively, it's gonna be a fun time, I think.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You don't need to butter me up, though. I appreciate, just like the hustle, you don't need to butter me up, but I appreciate the buttering up.
No, I'm not buttering anyone up. I know that you killed my character in GTL, so I know bad things could happen. To be fair, I rolled it badly, so whatever. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a good mission. And
Wait a
as
minute,
far
I
as
didn't
like
kill any of your characters or whatever in GTL.
Baker.
I didn't kill him. He died.
Well, no, he died. Yeah, I know he died, but anyways, the point is that he died punching a king crab to death, and I think that was a commendable death.
That sounds like he brought that death to himself, because that's not my king crab, and I know who has a king crab, and it's not me.
Yep. No. But the fact that he was in a heavy while he was doing it was just mwah.
Yes. Sometimes when life shits on you, that's all you can do is just punch. And it's
Just shit back on it.
yeah, it's trying to yeah. And unfortunately, he was outclassed.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Luke? I'm sorry. God damn it. I did it again. Kane. I don't know why. I can look dead at you on my screen, and I'm looking at you with the red, white, and blue shit behind you for the USMC, and I still fucking yell out Luke's name 100% confidence I'm using the right name, and be dead ass wrong. Kane, what kind of feedback and etc. do you have? Because somebody needs to get me off my own shit.
I'm excited to see if Wescott manages to get through this, or if Wescott does bad enough that Pike just sort of nods at Winston and then shoots her.
Oh shit!
There's a reason that there's a reason that Pike played into this the way that he did.
Oh.
Because
It's
remember,
so weird that she's got a
he
5.56 going through the back of her skull instead of a 7.62.
but it's like it was intentional. Just remember, he backed up his medic with those helmet cams after killing those two people.
Oh yeah. I don't
Pike
remember
knows what
exactly what you
happened.
did. Yeah, I don't
Pike
remember
knows what he
exactly what
did.
you did, but I know you did something.
Yeah, after action, he dolled it up as, totally unavoidable. He did his job. It's so regrettable. But he was like, I saw that footage. I've been raised a monster. I know what happened here. I know my medic. He's on the level. That's what he is. I'm keeping this medic.
So all I have to get along is just randomly kill people.
No, it can't be random. It has to be
No.
planned.
Yeah,
It's
it
the
can't just be random.
difference
It has to
between
be, like,
homicide
sort of
and
in
serial
mission.
killer.
It has to be in mission.
Homicide is
no.
just random.
As long as you're committing crimes for the mission, Pike's totally okay with it.
Thank God.
Unfortunately, let me introduce you to the Judge Advocate General. That's not how that works. Not even a little bit.
Pike knows he's working for a spook.
There's definitely spooky shit
he's
going on.
He's worked Black Ops before.
Of course.
He's worked Future Space 80s Black Ops before. He knows what
That's
they can get
the
away
worst
with.
Black Ops.
Right?
It's the dirtiest Black Ops.
That's probably a better word to use. Is dirtiest. You got anything else, Kane? I almost called you Luke again, by the way.
I'm really excited for this assault. It's going to go pleasantly well, or it's going to turn into an absolute raging pile of shit really fast, and we'll know pretty quick.
I'm going to tell you right now, be prepared for the raging pile of shit really quick side of that spectrum. Please. Please be prepared.
I'm also, not for the health of the campaign, but just for my own personal amusement, I am kind of hoping we have to make, berserk against the party rolls, because Pike cannot make any of those rolls.
Oh God.
Rodance, what do you got for us?
Yeah,
Feedback,
this-
outro, etc.
The rate we're going, I'm pretty sure Wescott's going to be standing next to Pike when he goes off, and I'm gonna die through some random inanimate object being thrown through my person.
I love how the way you phrase
know-
that. Thrown through my person.
Yeah,
So, I'm actually starting to root for Wescott surviving this as the person. Because Wescott has limits. Everyone else just believes they don't.
Yeah. I'm untouchable.
What?
Wescott. Oh no, I'm very touchable, and I don't like it when you touch me.
yes. Wescott is very aware of her limitations as a human being, and as a Marine and as a commander, and she wants to do as best she can, but she also knows she isn't freaking super soldier land over there.
Yeah, Pike is
Well-
like, oh no, I'm untouchable, and I'm going to touch you a lot. It's going to hurt.
Winston is going down a dark path. Warren thinks that he can throw a knife at a xenomorph from 20 feet away or longer and just be unarmed.
He thinks he's
and
David Bowie.
Still survive.
Is that the
Yeah,
name?
just survive.
Knife
I don't
guy?
know, yeah.
If Pike can do this, I can
Watts
do it
is
too.
jaded, it's all snot out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
Wescott's the only even vaguely normally adjusted one out of this crew.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay, if
Okay.
Wescott dies, we're going to have such a temperature difference with the backup character, because the backup character is crazy too.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, God.
It is totally different. It's a completely
It's a
different
completely
flavor of
different flavor
insane.
of crazy.
It's a different flavor of insanity. Oh man, I love the
Yes.
way you said that.
Is it
I have
grape
so much-
flavored?
It might be grape flavored.
Nice.
What was the question? I
No,
was coughing.
I vote it is lemon lime flavored.
Lemon lime.
Lemon lime? Okay.
Amazing. Amazing.
I mean, it's even got a
Um,
gun named Purity.
I got.
Is
I
he-
got.
are we
epic
sure you
blue
made a-
raspberry right now.
Are you sure you made an alien character and not a Warhammer 40k character?
You'll be constantly confused. Don't worry.
I mean, it would work in both.
Oh man, listen, I definitely have a growing appreciation for anything Warhammer 40k lately, so this could be
Oh,
very
nice.
fun.
It's like that missionary that we didn't get to go with us.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
Godwin Thorson or something like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
but it's gonna be interesting.
You got anything
And
else?
I suddenly now have justification to go try to go buy all those spacewalking talents. Because there's like 2 or 3 of them. And we've never had a need to have them.
So obviously I don't want to give away to anything, but I mean, you have a space station that is, as you can tell from the floor plans there, is pretty small. The idea of going EVA is an option. You are deploying in a compression suit, so consider that.
Might as well go take the couple of talents for it, because there's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. So
At
just
least that's what I'm going to try to go buy.
That
keep
zero G harpoon gun is going to be a lifesaver if you go out in EVA for sure.
if you're not already tethered, that's a good way to get tethered.
Well, that's another...
Yeah.
actually, that is something we should probably request on the equipment list now that I think about it. I forgot to... honestly, didn't think about it before, but that is something we probably should have requested.
We have one.
Because there's 0G training, which is mobility and 0G. And then I think there's a second one.
The only one I remember.
EVA specialist.
What's that do?
Plus
EVA.
2 heavy machinery and comtech.
While in EVA?
Well, spacewalking.
It makes
Yeah.
you a space mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense, actually, to have that for, at least for this kind of a mission, or a generic alien character. Not necessarily CMON.
Mhm.
All right. All right, we already confirmed that we are good for next week, pending anything that may pop up as per, life in general. But that is it for us here tonight, my friends. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed the show, please consider liking and subscribing, either here on Twitch or on YouTube. In the YouTube video, if that's where you're watching us, in the description, also there is a link for the Discord server where you can come and hang out and see what we're up to on the daily and the weekly. Daily is not a lot going on. Weekly, we have a few shows. Let's see. We do have Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader Tides of Acheron. That should be on tomorrow night, assuming nothing gets in the way of us meeting together again for episode 5. We are continuing the warp journey, where we will be now checking for our very first ever warp travel encounter. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we get thrown at them and what gets through the Geller field. But beyond that, that is everything for tonight. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a crazy dark place, so make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we will catch you next time. Have a good one, my friends.
Bye.